Form C refers to the physical construction of the motor enclosure. It indicates a totally enclosed fan-cooled motor. This means that the internal components of the motor are protected from moisture, dust, and other external contaminants by a fully enclosed housing. The motor also has an external fan for cooling. Type E refers to the type of enclosure that the motor has. It indicates an explosion-proof enclosure. These enclosures are designed to prevent the ignition of an explosive atmosphere in the vicinity of the motor. This is achieved by either containing any internal explosions or preventing sparks or flames from escaping the enclosure. Type E enclosures are typically used in hazardous environments where flammable gases, vapors, or dust are present. Given that the motor nameplate does not have a NEMA code letter, it is assumed that the motor is compliant with the International Electrotechnical Commission standards. The totally enclosed fan-cooled design is common in industrial applications where motors are exposed to harsh conditions. The enclosure prevents contaminants from entering the motor and damaging the internal components. The external fan helps to dissipate heat generated by the motor, preventing it from overheating. Explosion-proof enclosures are essential in hazardous locations where flammable substances are present. The enclosure is designed to contain any internal explosions, preventing them from spreading to the surrounding environment. It also prevents sparks or flames from escaping the enclosure, which could ignite flammable substances. The International Electrotechnical Commission standards are a set of international standards for electrical and electronic equipment. These standards ensure that electrical equipment is safe and reliable. In the absence of a NEMA code letter, it is assumed that the motor complies with the International Electrotechnical Commission standards. Choosing the correct motor enclosure is crucial for ensuring the safe and reliable operation of electrical equipment. Form C enclosures are suitable for applications where the motor is exposed to moisture, dust, and other contaminants. Type E enclosures are necessary for hazardous locations where flammable substances are present. Always consult the manufacturer's specifications and relevant safety standards when selecting a motor enclosure. Consider the environmental conditions and potential hazards present in the application. Select an enclosure that provides adequate protection for the motor and ensures the safety of personnel and equipment. Regular inspection and maintenance of motor enclosures are essential for ensuring their continued effectiveness. Check for signs of damage or deterioration and replace the enclosure if necessary. Ensure that all seals and gaskets are in good condition and properly installed. Keep the enclosure clean and free from debris. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your motors are properly protected and operate safely and reliably. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. Proper grounding is critical for electrical safety. Ensure that the motor is properly grounded to prevent electrical shock hazards. Use appropriate wiring and connectors for the motor's voltage and current requirements. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Never attempt to repair or modify a motor enclosure without proper training and authorization. Improper repairs or modifications can compromise the enclosure's protective capabilities and create a safety hazard. Always disconnect the power supply before working on any electrical equipment. Use lockout-tagout procedures to prevent accidental energization of the equipment. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves, when working with electrical equipment. Be aware of the potential hazards associated with electrical equipment and take precautions to avoid accidents. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical safety, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer. They can provide guidance and ensure that the work is performed safely and in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. Understanding motor enclosures is essential for anyone working with electrical equipment. By knowing the different types of enclosures and their applications, you can ensure that motors are properly protected and operate safely and reliably. Always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. Consider the motor's horsepower and voltage when selecting an enclosure. Ensure that the enclosure is appropriately sized for the motor and can accommodate all necessary wiring and connections. Check the enclosure's ingress protection rating to determine its resistance to dust and moisture. A higher ingress protection rating indicates greater protection. Consider the ambient temperature and humidity when selecting an enclosure. Some enclosures are designed for use in extreme temperatures or high humidity environments. Choose an enclosure that is compatible with the specific application. Regularly inspect the enclosure for signs of corrosion or damage. Replace the enclosure if necessary to maintain its protective capabilities. Keep the enclosure clean and free from debris. Dirt and grime can accumulate and reduce the enclosure's effectiveness. Use appropriate cleaning methods and materials to avoid damaging the enclosure. Ensure that all access panels and covers are properly sealed to prevent the entry of dust, moisture, or other contaminants. Replace any damaged or missing seals and gaskets. Never drill holes or make other modifications to the enclosure without consulting the manufacturer. Such modifications can compromise the enclosure's protective capabilities and void the warranty. If you need to make changes to the enclosure, contact the manufacturer for guidance and assistance. They can provide recommendations and ensure that the modifications are performed safely and correctly. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation, operation, and maintenance of motor enclosures. Failure to do so can void the warranty and create a safety hazard. If you have any questions or concerns about motor enclosures, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer. They can provide expert advice and ensure that your motors are properly protected and operate safely and reliably. Choosing the right motor enclosure is an important decision that can impact the performance, reliability, and safety of your electrical equipment. Take the time to carefully consider your needs and select an enclosure that meets your specific requirements. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. With proper planning and execution, you can ensure that your motors are properly protected and operate safely and reliably for many years to come. Selecting the correct motor for the right application is crucial for optimal performance and longevity. Consider the load requirements, duty cycle, and environmental conditions when choosing a motor. Ensure that the motor's horsepower and speed are appropriate for the application. Use a motor that is specifically designed for the intended use. Avoid using motors in applications for which they are not designed. Regularly inspect motors for signs of wear and tear. Check the bearings, windings, and other components for damage. Lubricate the motor's bearings as needed. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for lubrication intervals and types of lubricants. Keep the motor clean and free from debris. Dirt and grime can accumulate and reduce the motor's efficiency and lifespan. Use appropriate cleaning methods and materials to avoid damaging the motor. Ensure that the motor is properly ventilated. Overheating can damage the motor's windings and other components. Provide adequate airflow around the motor to dissipate heat. Protect the motor from moisture and other contaminants. Use a motor enclosure that is appropriate for the environmental conditions. Install surge protection devices to protect the motor from voltage spikes. Voltage spikes can damage the motor's windings and other components. Use a motor starter with overload protection. Overloads can damage the motor's windings and other components. Monitor the motor's current and voltage. Unusual readings can indicate a problem with the motor. If you suspect a problem with the motor, consult with a qualified electrician or motor repair technician. They can diagnose the problem and recommend the appropriate repair or replacement. Always disconnect the power supply before working on any motor. Use lockout-tagout procedures to prevent accidental energization of the equipment. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and gloves when working with motors. Be aware of the potential hazards associated with motors and take precautions to avoid accidents. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your motors operate safely and reliably for many years to come. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. Motors are essential components in many industrial and commercial applications. By understanding how motors work and how to properly maintain them, you can ensure their optimal performance and longevity. Always consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. They can provide expert advice and ensure that the work is performed safely and in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. Understanding the various types of motor enclosures and their applications is crucial for ensuring the safe and reliable operation of electrical equipment in different environments.